Hi everyone, my name is Kristen, and for my final project I chose to write about the Clean Air Act. The Clean Air Act was established in 1963. Its purpose was to develop solutions to reduce widespread pollution, but it wasn't until 1970 that major revisions were made to the Clean Air Act. During that same year, Congress established the Environmental Protection Agency, which is often referred to as the EPA. It's a separate agency within the federal government that has the primary role of carrying out the laws of the Clean Air Act. The EPA has developed a national ambient air quality standard. This standard identifies 6 major pollutants, and these pollutants have a maximal concentration that can be emitted from a single stationary source. In other words, a coal mining facility can only emit so many per ton of a pollutant into the atmosphere within a specified time frame. So in addition to these 6 major pollutants, which are often referred to as criteria pollutants, they are subject to 2 subcategories. It's a primary standard and a secondary standard. The primary standards are set for the protection of public health, people who are more sensitive to pollution, such as asthmatics, seniors, and children. The secondary standard is for protecting our crops, animals, finding ways to decrease, the smog visibility issues. So the Clean Air Act is set by the federal government, but when new standards are set, the states don't have to necessarily adopt these regulatory measures. But the caveat, if they don't, is that the federal government can withhold incentives, or they can implement sanctions, such as denial of federal highway funding in areas where attainment isn't met. The second sanction that could be imposed would be an increase to the offset requirements for new or modified development. And then there are circumstances where the EPA may actually not want to enforce these sanctions, especially if they're minor violations. But the CAA has a provision which is called the citizen suit provision, which allows private individuals to force the hand of the EPA to comply with these regulations. In a sense, private citizens act as attorney generals to rectify environmental harms. So the National Air Quality Standard has always been based upon scientific evidence. Scientific evidence has been the foundation of implementation, revising all these criteria pollutants. And, since the enactment of the Clean Air Act, there's been a 70% reduction in air pollution, even with a 50% increase of our population. The new administration, however, wants to do away with a particular section of the EPA which studies particulate matter. That is one of the criteria pollutants. And even though it's one of the more benign of the other pollutants, there could be concern that this isn't for the greater good of our economy. Who knows? There could be polluting sources who could be reckless with it. We never know. Only time will tell if, this adjustment to our policies would lead to emission irresponsibility. So, all right, thanks for watching.